Thanks, Wuhle. In the sit-down Expo 2020, Dubai sees about 200 nations coming together to exchange new perspectives while also inspiring action to deliver real-life solutions to real-world challenges. The Expo is a global platform to attract investors, initiate agreements and promote international cooperation. Now, this week in Dubai, we focus on unique African small businesses and how the Expo will put them on a global platform. One of those businesses is Legacy Art Collections, an African art contributor, dealer, agency and gallery. We speak now to the founder and director of Legacy Art Collection, currently showcasing at Dubai 2020 Expo, Mandy Beck. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. What a phenomenal platform to showcase art and really give global audiences a piece of South Africa. Tell us more. What inspired you to be part of this fantastic project?
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Umpo. Good morning, South Africa. What inspired me? Wow, that takes me back to my childhood memories. My dad was an artist. Sadly, he passed on last year, but he left us with a legacy of good artwork. My journey into art came from starting off being an accountant, knowing that I hated it, couldn't sit still to save my life, but then was discovered by a Rodriguez gallery, and basically that's where my journey into the art started. But going back, because of my dad, a phenomenal artist that exhibited his work at the Rodriguez Gallery for over 40 years. In his journey, I kind of seen the need for South Africans to actually look at artists in a very different way. Why Legacy Art Collection? It is basically, legacy is our heritage, it's our history, it's who we are as people. And artists are the best to showcase and to capture the experiences that we go through in life, in our day-to-day life. And my dad was one of those artists. His work captured the townships, the day-to-day living as South Africans. And, you know, back in the day, he was asked not to showcase the work that he felt. And I think that was when I spoke to him, he said to me, Mandy, you know, my biggest mistake in life was to change my concept because of exhibiting on going back at Rodriguez Gallery. They wanted the nicer part of living. So that's what spoke to me most. I go into townships, I go into studio spaces, and I capture or I find these diamonds in the rough as artists, and I kind of give them platforms like the Expo 2020. And for me, it is showcasing the best of South Africa and Africa. Now, why Art IQ? It's basically giving artists studio space as well as tools to do their work. And my job is to showcase their work on international platforms.
Yeah.
Going back to what I said was, you know, it is imperative for us to look at artists and be part of their process.
And as you look at artists, Mandy, and becoming part of the process, I mean, let's talk about some of the art movements that you're showcasing there. I mean, you speak about going into every corner of the country and not hiding anything, but what sort of mediums and movements are you looking at?
Okay, so yes, so we go into all the studio spaces in South Africa. The movement is basically making sure that their voice is heard in their work. And the biggest problem that we have is funding, because it's art and not everybody understands art, you know, and it's basically to educate our audience as to how important art is, capturing our history as South Africans, as Africans, and putting it on platforms with our voice and our narrative. So where we go is rural townships. That's where I find the best of Africa, you know. And it's not just going into museums, not museums in universities, going for university students. It's actually kept helping students or helping artists that don't have the way forward, and giving them the tools and the recognition that they deserve.
So how are global art collectors now reacting? What is the market saying as you showcase these artworks?
Oh, wow. It's, you know, it's 30 years on, we're doing very well. There's a huge movement into looking at African art as the next, it's a big economic boost for South Africa. And I've seen the trend from, going back 50 years now, that we're doing phenomenally well as South Africans, and also Africa. We have a huge pull to, well, there's always room for improvement, but there's a big pull and also a big, how can I say? It's changed from what we knew it. You know, we're now moving into the international field, and we play in the international arena very well. We have a lot of artists that's now exhibiting on your international Biennale stage, and that is what we want, you know, because how better for us to tell our story than to tell it ourselves and not to wait for an international to come in and take our work and tell the story on our behalf. And I think there's a positive movement into the art.
Absolutely. Mandy, I'm sitting here in South Africa, you're in Dubai. Take us into this exhibition. Show us around. What have you sold? And, give us some insight on exactly what you're collecting from the fantastic line of South African artists.
Oh, wow. Okay, so, there's so many that I would love to have shown, but I took 3 artists. Obviously, one, my dad, Mandy Beck. His sculptures behind me, Mother and Child, and also the classic tribute to our classics over here, which he's known for, as well as Thokozani Madonsela. He has the quirky way of expressing himself, yet he brings a point across so well. I don't have an example of his work here, but then I also have Solomon Obongboy that has the emotional attraction. You know, people stand and just admire his work for the emotion that he brings out in his pieces. There's so many other artists that I wish I could have brought on board, but yeah, we have an array of phenomenal artists in South Africa, but I'm just so happy and emotional at this point, to showcase again my dad's work and to use this platform to say, hey, look at us, we are the best. Indeed, in art. We have everything. We a colorful nation. We have Dr. Esther Mshlongo that also exhibited on this platform, and there's so much more to come.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for talking us through that exhibition, the creation of a world-class exhibition area in Dubai. Founder and director of Legacy Art Collection, currently showcasing at the Dubai 2020 Expo, Mandy Beck.